Good morning student, I'm Rose. Today we are in the third session of this chapter, chapter 2, the new kings and the new kingdoms in the medieval period. As we have learned about the last three videos about the three important rulers or the important kingdoms which was being aroused or which was being emerged after the Harshvardhana. Okay, or we can say in the medieval period, that means 10th century to 12th century AD. So we have already learned it and what are the consequences which was being affected in this in three kingdoms. Okay, so last topic we have learned about the tripartite struggle. Okay, so this tripartite struggle I have explained in the last video that this all three kingdoms were always fighting with each other. Due to that, what happened, they did not notice or they did not aware of the weakening or the conditions of their own kingdom. Due to that, what happened, this all kingdoms declined after that. When it was being declined, or when they were in the midst of weakness, what happened, there are various kings or the various kingdoms of Rajputs, or we can say various small kingdoms which they were seeing the opportunity to take over these all kingdoms. Okay, so one of the most important kingdoms or the dynasty which rose, or we can say which arose into an existence after this all kingdoms, that means Gujarapatihara, Palas and Rashtrakutas, after the declination of their some of the most important Rajput kingdoms who were emerged or came into a powerful position. You can see some of the important Rajput kingdoms in the northern part of India. You can see there are Chahamanas of Ajmer, then you have Chalukyas of Gujarat, Paramals of Malwa, then Chandelas of we can say Chandelas, then Gahadawalas of the Kannauj. These are the important Rajput kingdoms who arose after this, because these were the small kingdoms, but when they saw the weakness of these three kingdoms, they came into they came into it very powerful. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about the most important and very important topic that we are going to talk about is the that in the Rajput dynasty. If we talk about that, we are going to talk about the Chahamanas or the Chauhans. So these Chahamanas or Chauhans were actually situated in the Rajasthan area, or we can say near the Delhi. Okay, so these are the parts you can see in the map. I have just made it here. The total part of the blue line which you see, it is it is the place or the space of the Gujarapatihara. Then this side you can see in the east, that is Palas, and in the Nikhin you can see the Rajputas. Inside this, some of the important Rajput kingdoms I have marked, that is the Chahamanas, Chamluk, Paramals, and the Chandelas and Gahadawalas. Okay, these are the important Rajput kingdoms which came into existence, which came into a powerful after these all kingdoms. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about the most powerful and very important Rajput dynasty. We are going to talk about, that is the Chahamanas. Okay, actually this Chauhan came after that, later on. Okay, actually before them they were called as the Chahamanas, not the Chauhans. Okay, later on they were called as the Chauhans. Okay, so this dynasty was actually formed by the Gurkut in 11th century. Okay, so today, and this region was about the Delhi, that means Delhi, Ajmer and the Rajasthan area. These are the area where this Chauhans, or we can say this Chauhans kingdom was being situated here. Okay, one of the most important king, or we can say we are going to talk about this Chauhan, that was the Prithviraj III. Okay, he was the third king who was one of the most powerful and very great ruler of this dynasty. Okay, so first why he is so much important, we are going to talk about him. Okay, so actually this Prithviraj III, we can call him as a Prithviraj Chauhan. So we can read about him in the book which was being written by the Chandra Bardai. Okay, how in the book which was being written by the Chandra Bardai. Okay, in that is the book name is Prithviraj Raso. You can find in that how the Prithviraj Chauhan achieved his goal and how he exploited or how he destroyed himself, or we can say he was being destroyed. Okay, so this we can read in detail we can find in the Chandra Bardai Prithviraj Rasu. So today we are going to learn something that is in the short. I will just describe it, or we can say in detail. I'll just tell something about this Chauhan dynasty. Okay, so this Prithviraj Chauhan was one of the greatest ruler of the Chauhan dynasty, and if you talk about, he ascended the throne after his father in the age of 14 years. Means in the age of 14 he ascended the throne. That means he sat on the throne. Okay, he took the position of the king. Okay, so if you talk about him, he was very great. He was very great king, and we can say that he, in his presence, he occupied the Bundelkhand and the Rajasthan. Okay, these are the two important kingdoms, or the important states, or the kingdom which was being conquered by the Prithviraj Chauhan. Okay, but what happened? There are so many invaders, or we can say there are so many different kings who wanted the opportunity when they look for some of the important thing what is happening inside the country or other countries. So always they have they used to have the what we call they wanted to take away others' kingdom. Okay, so same some of the important happened. One of the most important invaders, that means outside invaders, we call the outside, that means foreign ruler who came to India in the 11th century. So during the reign of Prithviraj Chauhan, or the Prithviraj III, one of the most important invaders came to India. That was the Muhammad Ghori. Okay, Muhammad Ghori was actually came from Afghanistan. He is an Afghani ruler, we can say Turkish ruler. Okay, he came from Afghanistan. He was a warrior and also a chief commander of officer in the army. Okay, so he was actually conquering from what we call subcontinent of India. That means outside, like you can say Afghanistan, Pakistan. These are the areas he has conquered. So he wanted to take over. That means he has already heard about the India. Okay, that means how the Indian people are reaching everywhere. So always the foreign rulers came to India in that time, in 11th century to 10th century. Okay, they always came to India for the wealth. Okay, so this Muhammad Ghori actually came to India in two main purposes: to conquer India, and other was to obtain the wealth from India. So when he came to India, okay, he has to face a defeat from Prithviraj Chauhan in AD 1191. Okay, so when he came to India first time, he invaded India, he was faced by the Prithviraj Chauhan, and he was being defeated very badly in AD 1191. So this is the year. Please be remember this date in which year Muhammad Ghori came to India and what happened in that time. Okay, so first he came when he invaded India. He came in AD 1191, and he was being defeated by the Prithviraj Chauhan. But he felt so much exploit, because the invaders always wanted more and more. Okay, so he did not feel good. What happened in very next year, that is in AD 1192, the very next year, that means 91 he was being defeated, but in AD 1192 Muhammad Ghori again came to India, again invaded India with so much campaign. If you talk about, means so much military force, or we can say so much big force, and he came to India once more and defeated the Prithviraj III, or the Prithviraj Chauhan. Okay. So actually what happened when this, while he was being defeated, one of the carelessness can be happened. Okay, so there can be something like that. When Prithviraj Chauhan defeated the Muhammad Ghori, he got so much help from the various kingdom nearby, like we say Chandelas, we can say Gaha warriors. There are various Rajput kingdom nearby, so they helped him. But when they defeated the Muhammad Ghori in AD 1191, this all kingdoms, or the kings of all this kingdom, they felt so much relaxed that the Muhammad Ghori would not come back, because he was very badly defeated. But what happened? This Muhammad Ghori did not he felt so much bad due to what happened. To take the revenge, he came means very next year with so much force and become so much practices. After that, he came in AD 1191 and he defeated the Prithviraj Chauhan. And what happened after defeating the Prithviraj Chauhan, or we can say Prithviraj III, he was being executed by the Muhammad Ghori. If you have heard the movie, if you have seen any movie, or if you have seen any episode of this, okay, so you can learn it how he has been executed. Okay, so he has been executed. Executed means we can say very severely, with very pain he was being given death. Okay, so for example, when he was executed by Muhammad Ghori, his eyes was being taken off, and after that, he was so much intelligent, because this Prithviraj Chauhan was so some part of the last part, or if you talk about the last one at the end of the story of the Prithviraj Chauhan, if you talk about, when he was being executed in the jail, he was once being what we called in the court, and he was having one point, that is the Chandrapada. He was very intelligent, and this Muhammad Ghori was sitting in his throne, and this Prithviraj Chauhan was given a bow and arrow. Okay, bow and arrow. So what happened? He was told to kill one something was being kept in the front, so it has to be pointed out that he was so much this Prithviraj Chauhan was so very big warrior and so much powerful, so he was so much intelligent. So with the words of other people also, he can even cut off any head of his enemy without saying it. So same thing happened. So this Chandrapada, or we can say his poet, Prithviraj Chauhan's poet, was giving him an indication with the poem. Okay, but what happened? When this Muhammad Ghori understood, he was sitting in the throne and this Prithviraj Chauhan was in front. Okay, he understood that he was something up to that. When he was arrowing, when he was he was going to kill, he just took off his head and he cut the Prithviraj Chauhan's head. Okay, so this was the end of the Prithviraj Chauhan. Okay, it's by the Muhammad Ghori. So this is what happens. Okay, so one more thing happened when he was defeated. Prithviraj Chauhan was defeated in 1192. This was the turning point in the Indian history. So what was the turning point of Indian history? Because here, after the Prithviraj Chauhan, the most important thing happened. The changes happened. That was the Turkish rule came into India. That means the foreign rule came into India. That was the turning point in the Indian history. That is why this Chahamanas or the Chauhan are the most important thing in this chapter we are learning. Okay, so this is what happened. So already this Chauhans was being defeated, and other Rajput kingdoms around them, they were always fighting with each other. Okay, so what happened? They did not even like these all powerful kingdoms like Rajputas, Palas, and the Gujara Pratiharas. Like this all kingdoms also nearby the Chahamanas kingdom also, they did not care about the kingdoms. And what happened? The same thing happened. That means they did not defend themselves, and this was the main problem when they did not defend themselves and they did not came together. This was the main problem or the main weakness of the Turkish invasion or the Turkish rule came to India. That means Muslim rule came to India. So this is the thing happened in this year. That means in AD 1192. So I will see you in the next video. Please read the chapters, go through the chapters, and please understand it. Thank you.